Hello, this is Gilgamesh. I want to first talk about something that really irritates me is this whole thing with Danny Masterson. He was convicted of rape in first of all, in two of the three cases, he was found guilty. These women initially didn't even, some of them dated him. This is over like 20 or so years ago, way past what would be considered statute of limitations. And they, in one, she didn't even report that he raped her. And then during the trial, they completely changed their stories from what they originally told the police. And Lauren Chen did a whole video where she broke it down and said, yeah, these women, essentially he gets 30 years in prison, yet no evidence was actually presented. And this is the problem with the Me Too, and this is another problem with our country, is in England, if women lie about rape, they actually get prosecuted and put in prison. And here, women, they do this a lot. This is what happened to Bill Cosby. This is what's happened to Danny Masteron. I don't care whether I don't like Scientology. I think it's a cult, but here's the thing, that doesn't mean that him being part of that means that, he did anything wrong here. I don't tend to believe women, because most of them lie about it. It's like the whole thing with every woman in Bill Cosby's case straight up fabricated their story. He would, and said, he gave me something to drink, and then I drank and I passed out. Here, the women's stories changed constantly. And Corey Feldman can fuck right off, because this is Corey Feldman, the guy who basically caused Corey Haim to overdose on drugs. Because you can go, I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but on the two Coreys, like the last episode, Feldman kept hitting Corey Haim with that, tell me who it was that, raped you, and everything. Corey Haim didn't want to talk about it. That's why he was doing drugs. This is why Dana Plato did drugs. Victims of sexual abuse don't tend to want to talk about it. They tend to want to forget it. And Corey Haim, shortly after this, and you can just see, and this is hypocrisy coming from Corey Feldman, because he's always stated, I'm never going to tell anyone who molested me. And see, he pressured, and Corey Haim kept saying, I don't want to talk about it, never happened. This is typical of victims when they've been, because his abuse happened during the set of Lucas, and then Corey Haim overdosed. And Corey Haim's mother basically blamed Corey Feldman for it, and I ring this up. I'll get to it. Then Corey Feldman comes out years later with this outlandish charge against Charlie Sheen, claiming that during the set of Lucas, which is where this took place, is that Charlie Sheen raped him, which never happened. And Corey Haim's mother came forward and said, no, he named at least one of the men that raped him on the set of Lucas. And he said, she came out and made it very clear that Corey Haim, her son, told her it was not in fact Charlie Sheen. And then when this is where the whole, I'll get why I'm bringing Corey Feldman up, is because when those two liars, Robson and I forget the other guy, were making in the Leaving Neverland fake hit piece against Michael Jackson after he'd been dead for nearly 10 years. What did Corey Feldman, and I'm not kidding, you can look this up, he comes out and says, it's time to believe the victims. A man who basically helped Corey Feldman get away from his parents who were ripping him off and get him emancipated. Yeah, Michael paid for the lawyers and everything to get Corey Feldman emancipated from his parents, who protected children because he himself had been molested as a kid. I remember him saying this to a therapist. No, it wasn't a family member. It was somebody who knew him. He said that in a therapy session, which didn't surprise me that he had been victimized as a child, because that's why he was looking out for children from sex. And this is why they killed him. But this is what I'm saying. When I say that about Corey Feldman, he comes out and makes the stupidest statement without any proof. Believe these women. The women will use witness, as we see, like with the Me Too thing. We had proof against Harvey Weinstein. There's a video of him sexually assaulting a woman on the couch. You know, what they call the coaching couch. We didn't have any evidence against Michael Jackson. We have no evidence against Bill Cosby. Angie Dickinson, absolutely under cross-examination by Tom Mesereau, Michael's lawyer, who proved a month early that Michael was innocent, got her to recant and admit that she fabricated the whole story to sell a book, which destroyed all the women who claimed that Bill Cosby raped them. Danny Masterson here. These women never once told the police that he ever raped them. When they went to the police, they never called. In one case, one woman said could Danny Masterson be a kind of an asshole? Maybe. Was he a bit controlling? Probably. But they never accused him of rape. Then takes a stand and changes her story after 20 or so years, and then claims that he raped her. Yet the prosecution never once showed any evidence, and I said this on Twitter, Danny Masterson got absolutely screwed over. He got 30 years. He's going to, and I hope his lawyers appeal this, and it gets overturned, because there was no evidence presented. This whole thing that we should believe women when they say this is the problem with the Me Too thing. This is the problem with women in this country. They do it all the time. A lot more women lie about rape than are actually raped. That actually are victimized, especially when they come forward. Now, we've seen it over and over. Go look at the Duke lacrosse team. Through a bunch of innocent men, young men, all because they came from well-off families, and they were all white, some black bitch. And here's the irony in that, is that the other stripper with her contradict her story and said never happened. And then it turns out, after the police really investigated it, she finally admitted to the police that she made the whole rape up. By then, the coach had been fired. He had nothing to do with any of this. In one case, one of the accused had actually wasn't even at the party, and a cab driver actually went to the authorities to tell them he knows for a fact he wasn't there, but they threatened to arrest him. You can go watch Sean's video, the actual Justice Warrior. He did a whole video about the Duke lacrosse team, about the rape case. How the prosecutor knew the woman was lying, yet proceeded with it. There's also, like in England, there was a case. It was known as the Facebook rape case, where this guy, he had been prosecuted because the woman made accusations. The judge called him a monster after he was convicted. Then he's in prison. As his sister-in-law, who knows he's innocent, is visiting him. The guy sitting next to him, he tells him later that you can always retrieve messages off Facebook. So, and his sister-in-law, not being the most tech-savvy, was able to retrieve all the messages. And she went to the judge and the prosecutor and showed them that, in fact, this woman had edited these things to make the guy look like he had committed the rape. When in one of the messages, she made it sound like he was apologizing for it, when in fact what he really said was, "I'm sorry, I'm not looking to get in a relationship because I just got to have a bad one." When the judge saw this, they immediately went after the police and said, "How did you not?" Because they only took the woman's side of it. They didn't bother to really look into it. So the judge apologized to the guy. He was released from prison. I think the woman, this was in England, I think she got prison. As far as I know, in England, they do prosecute women for lying about rape. So they did put her in prison. But there was another where this woman had done this, I think, to 5 men. And when they finally figured out she was a serial predator. I She got like, I think the judge she got like, she was given a life sentence in prison and called one of the worst predators of all. Yeah. See, and then there's the college football players, where they were in high school, and it was basically these two football players slept with this girl, but because she liked the quarterback, she went and lied to authorities and said that she was raped, and then it turns out it never happened. She admitted in court. When one of the young men came and told the judge what this did to his life, that he was in therapy, she rolled her eyes at him. She didn't care that she destroyed his life. And there's the football player. He was a kicker or something for some profession, in the NFL. A woman came forward with these false accusations, which were actually thoroughly investigated by police. They found no evidence to back up her claim. She's suing this guy. He loses. He gets, I think it might have been the Buffalo Bills or something, but he was fired from the team, let go without waiting for the evidence to come forth. She's now suing the guy. She's going to sue this guy, even though the police came forward and said that they had investigated her claims and found no evidence to back up what she was saying. She's still suing the guy. Yeah. So this happens. And then you had another one. It was a UCLA, not UCLA, USC, where a football player had his life ruined over lies about rape. And then finally the truth came out, and the woman was proven to have made up the whole story. And then there was I think it was in West Virginia or Virginia, where it was the Rolling Stones wrote an article claiming this Jane Doe it was a female supposed reporter with the Rolling Stone, claimed that she went to a fraternity where they threw a rape party. What happened? Later, a male reporter came along, actually and by the way, I want to thank the university for not overreacting and punishing the fraternity. They waited for the truth. And what came out was that the lady who wrote the article had to actually come out and admit she never even investigated, just took the Jane Doe at her word. What it turned out was this woman was a compulsive liar. Her friends even told the guy when he asked them, because that's why she told the reporter never to talk to her friends or look into it, just take her at her word. That reporter in Rolling Stones got sued in court, and they lost. Then there was the case of the German student. It was the mattress case. You can go watch Carl Benjamin's. He did a whole video on this mattress girl saga, where she claimed this German foreign exchange student, had raped her when he never did. And in the end, they settled with him. The first judge threw it out. The second, right before they were about to go to trial, they settled and admitted they should have stood by what they said. Paul McGass, that was his name. They settled. There was another one where these two people, they were a couple, and they went to a party with her friend. Later, her friend, at the same party, the guy was so drunk, he wanted to go back to his dorm. He wanted his girlfriend to take him back, but she didn't want to leave the party, so she asked her friend. And when she gets him back there, he's so drunk he passes out on the bed, and then she's telling her friends she's texting her friends saying what she's about to, which is she's about to rape this guy, where she's gonna have sex with him while he's passed out. Well, when the university, because of Obama's Title 10, was it Title 9? I think it was basically where we're gonna go after men accused of rape and never give them a chance to defend himself. Even when the university admitted there's no way this guy, he was so wasted, could have actually proceeded to rape her, they took her at her word and punished him and kicked him out. When his then girlfriend, before they broke up, had gotten other people came forward and gave them all these text messages she had sent. When they went to the university, the woman in charge of this, and he sued, by the way, and won in court. I can't remember what college it was. Is that the lady who was in charge of punishing him, when they showed it, she said, I don't care that You prove he's innocent. As far as I'm concerned, he's guilty. He sued. He won in court. This whole thing of believe all women, this actually hurts victims of rape. This is why a lot of women don't come forward. And so yeah. So in here, these women changed their stories. And like I said, watch Lauren Chan's video. It goes further in and shows the fact that these women changed their stories after over 20 or so years. And he's going to prison for 30 years, which is BS to begin with, because the prosecution never presented any actual evidence of rape. Just these women said it, and that's why I said, Corey Feldman then comes out, we gotta believe the women. No, you motherfucker, you don't believe lying women. If we had laws that prevented women from lying about rape, and they were held accountable for what they said, we wouldn't have innocent men going to prison for rape or having their lives destroyed. And, yeah. So I wanted to do, these women absolutely 100% fabricated the story. They changed it. Like I said, Lauren Chen did further into this. So you could watch her video on it. But yeah, I just want to talk about this really quick. This is Gilgamesh. I will talk to you later. Bye.